if people don't agree with it, it's going to be controversial to them. So, and it's okay to stir the pot, kick over the slop jar every now and then.
He may not look familiar, but his editorial cartoons are very recognizable. J.D. Crowe is editorial cartoonist for the Mobile Press-Register. He expresses his opinion on the news of the day through his drawings. Crowe says he puts passion into his work. His job is to get the readers off the fence, on issues he believes are important to the community. Crowe sat down with our Eric Reynolds for the interview.
Never dreamed that someday I could actually make a living carving up politicians, drawing stupid pictures and put it in the papers.
This is J.D. Crowe, editorial cartoonist for the Mobile Press-Register.
Basically just a smart aleck who can draw a little bit.
Crowe says he was drawing at a young age.
When I was real little, before I ever started talking, I was drawing pictures. I was a good kid all day long. I wouldn't fuss or anything.
He did create a fuss fresh out of college at his first newspaper job in Fort Worth, Texas. His very first news drawing resulted in threatened libel suits. He thought he might lose his first job.
I got in pretty bad trouble while my probation period wasn't even out yet.
So he applied for his Texas newspaper's editorial cartoonist position. And the rest is history.
So they just kind of shuttled me in there and said, well, let him do what he does. And so I've been kind of doing that ever since.
J.D. Crowe arrived in Mobile in the year 2000, bringing with him his feelings about politicians.
I don't really trust any politician. I found out early on the best way to get a politician's goat is to draw them naked. And it goes back to the old thing, an emperor with no clothes. If they're out there bold-faced lying and doing some things that are just ugly, they hate to be drawn naked. And some of them really hate the fishnets and the little perverted gear that I put them in.
So I asked him, where does he come up with his ideas?
I come in here just stark naked every day without an idea, without a clue. On a really good day, I'll find an issue that really makes me mad, because if something really ticks me off or makes me mad, it'll be a little stronger cartoon. I can put a little more oomph into it.
Damage to the tax base.
God, I love Troy King. One of my favorite politicians of all time to draw, because he had absolutely no sense of humor. He got very defensive, and so he was just a cartoonist's dream. Just about the time I think I've got nothing else to draw, here we come up with a spanking judge. The school board was always in the news. They were always acting up, so I was drawing those guys all the time. My cartoonist friends in other cities just want to trade spots with me all the time, because I can't make some of this stuff up. It's just bizarre.
I asked J.D. Crowe if he considers himself controversial.
If people don't agree with it, it's going to be controversial to them. So, and it's okay to stir the pot, kick over the slop jar every now and then.
His cartoons, you may have guessed, have generated phone calls and hate mail.
You know what, I used to get a lot of hate mail, used to get a lot of really negative phone calls, but I think the sound-offs have alleviated some of those. I think somebody that's really angry, they get it off their chest and they feel good about it, especially if it appears in print the next day. If I've offended you, call sound off. Everybody feels better.
In Mobile, Eric Reynolds, Fox 10 News.
Crowe says his cartoons are never personal, and he knows where to draw the line. He actually had good things to say about a couple of politicians, former Mobile Mayor Mike Dow and former Alabama Governor Bob Riley. They both got overall positive reviews. As for Governor Robert Bentley, Crowe says even though he put his foot in his mouth right after his inauguration, he's still giving him a honeymoon period before he pats Bentley on the back or calls him on his actions.